Have you been delaying signing up for your first off-road Xterra triathlon, coming up with every excuse in the book? Well, pause this video right now and go fill out the registration of the race you've been thinking about doing, because I have got the training plan that's going to get you from watching Netflix to that finish line out there on the trails. Hey, it's Coach Eric from ewjtri, and I am extremely excited for you to do your first off-road triathlon. The only regret that I have about off-road triathlons is that I didn't start them like 10 years sooner. So sign up, you're not going to regret it. This training plan that I have for you is going to prepare you for really a sprint distance. So about an 800-yard or meter swim, give or take a 15-mile bike, and then a 5K trail run. And you could also apply this to a road sprint triathlon, but I'm going to be talking in specifics of the trail and the mountain bike. So here we go. Now, if one of your favorite excuses is I don't have time, that's nonsense, because this plan starts you off with 20 minutes or less every day that you work out. I mean, the World Health Organization recommends that everyone gets 30 minutes, 5 days a week of moderate activity, just for the regular person. And you, my friend, are an off-road triathlete, or will be very soon. So seriously, you can do this. Disclaimer, this plan is written for everything to go perfectly. And guess how often that happens? Never. The athletes I coach, after I write the training plan, 1 to 2 days a month at least, we're adjusting something. There's just too many things that happen. You don't get a good night's sleep. You traveled more than you thought. You worked later than you thought. The kids get sick. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And so that's one of the advantages of not using a standardized training plan. But this plan will give you a great structure to get you started. Just know that, when the plan's written on a Monday or a Friday, you don't actually have to do those on those exact days. But at the same time, is written in a way where follow it as closely as possible. That way you can, build consistency, routine. This plan is written for 6 days of working out, so it also helps to prevent, some injury, hopefully, because rather than working out maybe 3 days a week and trying to cram it all in, you're spreading it out over 6, and so your body's adjusting to that a little better, and you still get 1 whole day off per week. So the plan is written starting on, let's say, Monday. You do a swim, then you do a bike, then you do a run, and then you do a swim, and then a bike and a run, and then a day off. So to say it one more time, you don't have to follow it specifically. You could throw that day off on Wednesday or Thursday. But the idea behind this structure is that you never have 2 workouts right back to back, 2 runs in a row. You're more likely to get injured. And so it avoids that, hopefully. But then also, if you do 2 runs back to back, now you might have a whole long time, like more than a week before your next run. And so you may feel a little bit rusty. And so the idea is that you're always doing a type of discipline, swim, bike, or run, every few days. So as you can see on the plan here, the swim is written in black, the bike workouts are written in blue, and the run is written in red. That way, as you quickly glance at the schedule, you know what you have coming up. And the swim is in black just because that's the default color font for type, but the bike is in blue and the red is in run. The run is in red for specific reasons, because in Xterra off-road tries, when you're on that bike course, the directional arrows are all going to be blue. And when you're on the run course, all the directional arrows are red. So this is extremely important, because when you're out there on the course, some of the trails, the bike and the run are actually the same course in part, but then they might veer off. So you might come around a corner and there might be a blue arrow straight and a red arrow to the right. And you know that if you're on that bike, you better be going straight. And if you're running, you better not be going straight. You better be hanging to right. So blue arrows for bike, red arrows for run. It's going to be burned into your brain for the training plan, so you don't even have to think about it on race day. Okay, let's start with the swim. One of the most common mistakes I see newbies make is that they think you've got to swim nonstop. And that's just not the case. If you haven't been swimming, or if you haven't really trained on a regular basis, you're probably going to feel like dying if you try to do that. So one length of the pool is usually either 25 yards or 25 meters. You can ask and figure that out, but it doesn't ultimately change the workout because they're close enough. And so one length is 25, and then down and back would be a lap, and that would be a 50. And so, for example, this planned workout starts off with 8 by 25. So you're going to swim one length, you're going to stop and rest. That could be a minute, 4 minutes, like take your time. When you're ready, then you swim another length. And that's how you're going to start off, because then you're going to end up with a total of 400 if you do that. Whereas if you swim down and back and you feel like dying and you want to quit, then that's no fun. So when you actually start this, remember when you're swimming, there's lots of things to think about. Keep your head down in the water and breathing out. So even just blowing bubbles is a good way to practice it. So you're blowing bubbles in the water, and then you turn to breathe, and that's when you inhale and take in your breath. And then again, blowing bubbles in the water, and this will help prevent you from being so tired as quickly as well. And then as you build strength and get in better shape, you don't necessarily need to, you can still just swim down one length of 25. What you start to do is you shorten the rest in between, which can help a lot. And it'll also do a combination of swimming 50s, so down and back and then stop for a minute or two, and then down and back and stop for a minute or two. And then this is gonna build all the way up to a 400. So your race is 800, but you don't need to swim 800 straight before you do a race. So your whole workout as you build up will be 800, for example, but you're gonna swim up to a 400, which is, 16 lengths or 8 laps down and back, however you wanna think about it. As you work up to that longer distance, let's say the 400, make sure you have something to help you keep track of your distance, because it's really easy. You're worried about your arm going in the water and swallowing water, and your hips are sinking and you're focusing on that. So the lap's something you don't need to stress about. So if you don't have some sort of watch that's waterproof or a swim lap counter, even have a friend or someone, fellow triathlete, count the laps for you when you do that, so you're not worried about that and you're getting the right distance in. I also recommend a private or small group swim lesson, or even a couple of them. As a beginner, you can make so many improvements just based on having some of that individual form adjusted than you ever will by just trying to survive swimming at the pool. You'll just be much more streamlined and faster just based on your form than actually trying to get a cardiovascular benefit. So I strongly recommend a swim lesson or two. Okay, on to the mountain bike. So you're gonna bike 2 days a week. Try to have one of those days be on the trails. So you're getting used to the softer surface and more specifically what you're gonna race on in the off-road tri. So get your mountain bike on the trails. If you have a road bike or indoor bike, do that the other day perhaps, especially if you don't live real close to the trails. If you only have a mountain bike and the trails aren't super close, well then, ride on the road or some other area that's not real specific single track, just so you're getting on that mountain bike or at least a bike 2 days a week. The goal here is building endurance, having fun on the trails, getting comfortable, on the mountain bike, because there's going to be a lot of kind of coasting, and then you pedal a little bit, maybe to go up a little hill, and then you coast. It is very different from the road, so just kind of build that time on the bike, get your get your butt used to sitting on the seat that long, and you'll work up that endurance. So onto the trail run. The trail run is similar to the swim in that if you're really not in shape for running, you don't want to just run 8 minutes. You probably could right now, but then you feel like dying, and that's no fun either. So you want to do actually a walk run. You're not going to rest completely like you would with swimming, but do a walk run. And this is the fastest way to get the calories burned and the endurance increased, because let's say you're supposed to walk 1 minute, run 1 minute, walk 1 minute, run 1 minute. You might do 5 minutes total running, but you've done 10 minutes of total working out. And then if you extrapolate that to 10 times, now you've done 10 minutes of running, 10 minutes of walking for 20 total minutes. And then as you build up, you're going to be doing 6 minutes of running and then 1 minute of walking. And so it allows you to, again, build endurance, give you that little bit of break. That 1 minute tends to be enough, and then you're off to running again. And you're actually probably going to do this somewhat in the race. A lot of those Xterra trail runs, there's sections that are so hilly and difficult, you're going to end up walking for a minute or two anyway. And so if you get used to that in training, then you're better prepared to have those adjustments. And it also can be a great time to take in some water or to take in some calories if you need to when you're walking. As with the bike, you're trying to get on those trails 1 day a week. If you can't, that's fine. But as it gets closer to the race, 6 to 8 weeks, you want that specific training to help your tendons, ligaments, in the lower extremity ankle area to be, stronger and get used to those trails that it doesn't experience when it's on the road. So try to get one day on the trails or a softer surface and another day, treadmill, road, whatever. So you're getting in those 2 days of running per week. I'm going to say one more time that this is a skeleton structure of a training program and that really they should account for individual differences. So I hope you utilize this to get you up off the couch and get you addicted to off-road tries. But know that there is more than one way to the finish line. There's thousands of ways to the finish line, frankly. But just implementing some general principles will really help get you there. So there you go. 12 weeks and you're across that finish line. And season 3 of Stranger Things will still be waiting for you when you're done. And now you've accomplished a whole lot more. You've gotten outside, and now you're in shape as well. And now you're addicted, so you're going to be signing up for more off-road triathlons because they are the best type of triathlons. Yeah, I said it. It's true. I hope that video was helpful for you. Email me if you want a copy of the training plan. It's yours. So ewjtri, TRI, @gmail.com. And let me know how the plan works. Let me know. You better put a comment when you finish your first off-road try. That is something you definitely got to know. Share with the community. And until next week's video, I'll see you out there on the trails. With a mountain bike, you're going to swim